I'm Bella, the maker mama boss lady behind Fiber and Fox, and this is episode 43 of my podcast. Thank you for joining me today. I am a crochet designer. I also knit, and this is where I share yarny things on the internet with you. The internet. Everything you need to know about me if you need more of this in your life is linked down below. My Instagram, my blog, all the goodness, pattern shops and the like. Link down below the video, and there's also show notes, which are over on my blog, which will cover everything that I mentioned today as far as links that you may need. So that is my intro bit, and admin-wise, I don't have a ton of, maybe this is admin, I don't know. But I wanted to talk, I'm filming now. I think it's the last day of November. When you're seeing it, it will be beginning of December. So happy December. I made it to December of 2021. That's kind of frightening because I know most of us are still like working through 2020. Definitely don't know where 2021 went, but it's been a good year for us. So yeah, going into 2022 is kind of like, what? But yes, we're going into the Christmas season. We've started doing a bunch of Advent stuff for our family and just really trying to focus on Christ in this season. So we've been doing we have two different like Advent, they're like little cards, the size of like coasters, little cards with some scripture reading each day and a little picture and like Bible, I don't know, not like a Bible phrase, but like a little phrase of the day, I guess, that summarizes what we're doing. I got one from the Daily Grace and Daily Grace Co. I'll try to remember to link them in the notes for you, and the other from A Brighter Day Press. And we've just been doing that together as a family each day. And we're just going to be doing, trying to build traditions. My daughter's 3 now, so she does have a more awareness of things. And although I feel like she's always had awareness of things, she's astute. But building traditions and memories and stuff that she's going to hopefully remember for a long time. That being said, Vlogmas. I know a lot of people do a daily Vlogmas or a weekly Vlogmas. Last year I did like a weekend Vlogmas where I filmed all week and then posted it on Sunday. I think I was doing on the Sundays of Advent or something, which was fun, kind of. I really like watching Vlogmases. It's fun to watch and see what people are making and what traditions they have and whatnot. But for me, we being my husband and I, because we are in this together, it is my business, but I try very hard to keep our family separate from my business, and I know I don't want this to like come across, because this is our preference, but we don't really, occasionally I'll post a picture of like my daughter like cropped to show a cowl or something, but we don't really share our family or our home or personal stuff by way of my business, because I like to keep those things separate. So doing Vlogmas felt kind of like a weird melding of those things together. So like we're gonna bake cookies as a family, or me and my daughter, my husband doesn't bake. We're gonna do a craft, or we're gonna, decorate our tree, but also I'm gonna film you for my YouTube channel. It just, I don't know, it felt kind of uncomfortable for me. And if that's something your family enjoys and is okay with, then by all means, but I try to limit being on my phone and whatnot. I have a camera now, but either way, on the internet in general, when I'm around my daughter, and just be present in those moments and not be on my phone all the time. So not gonna do Vlogmas, and yeah, I'm not even gonna do the weekend ones anymore. I'm gonna sneeze, sorry, probably a weird cut, but the cat came in and was walking on my lap before I started recording, so now I'm a little sniffy. But yeah, we've just decided that's not something that's fun for us or great for our family. And it's definitely a great way to monetize a YouTube channel during December, but I'm not going to put that before family and tradition and the reason we're celebrating Christmas. So yes, no Vlogmas for me. Sorry guys. But there are lots of other great Vlogmases if you've never checked them out. They are a lot of fun to watch and hang out with people daily in their home and what coffee they're drinking and how they decorate and that sort of thing. It is very fun, but yep, we're doing our own Christmas thing. That being said, I am going to share a couple, I'm going to talk about an Advent project I'm working on. I'm going to share a little bit of that in my Instagram stories. You can follow me over at fiber.and.fox on Instagram if you'd like. And I've just been sharing snippets of like our Advent Bible study or just like quick pictures. Nothing elaborate, not all day and not daily. But if you have any interest in what our traditions or whatnot are, you are welcome to follow along there. I don't have any new designs to share with you this episode, but it kind of fits in with what I'm wearing as well, so I will tell you what I am wearing. They are designed by me. This is the Herrington Marliday cowl. And this is the solid worsted weight version. The pattern comes with a marled, hence the whimsical name, a marled version holding 2 yarns double. And of course mine's gray and grainbow. But this is the solid version if you want to just do a worsted weight. It's a really fun stitch pattern, and it comes with a tutorial on how to work this pattern, or how to work this stitch, because it is a bit of a trickier one, or one that takes some getting used to, but once you get going, it's the same thing throughout. And yeah, it's really, I'm like peeking at myself through the holes in my cowl. It's really, really beautiful. So that is the Herrington Marliday. And then what I am wearing is my second version, or my second, I never know how to say this. It's the second one I've made. I've made 2. It's the same as the first one, but I've made a second one. Second Fields cardigan, which is still in testing, but it's wrapping up. Had some stuff come up with a couple of testers just in their personal lives, and I always try to be really gracious towards crochet not being your biggest priority in testing my pattern. So giving a little bit of grace there, a little more wiggle room, and then hopefully we'll have that pattern to my tech editor really soon and out by December something. I would love to have it out by the end of the year. So Fields cardigan is coming, and the Through the Rain cowl and the mama and mini sizes are also with testers. But this Fields cardigan, it's a little bit grandpa style, a little bit Mr. Rogers. I am loving it in the red. The first one I made was a mustard yellow because obviously, but it is just lovely. The red is coming up a little brighter, I think. Yeah, if I sit back, it's a little more true to color. But the yarn that I used for this one is Fiber for the People yarn. It was a dyed to order color from her signature solid line. It is the colorway Chili, and it is on her 80/20 merino nylon non-superwash base, which I think might be one of my new favorite yarn bases. It is really lovely. It's a fingering weight, and the pattern is written for fingering weight. I don't know, I didn't meet my own gauge from the first one, but I actually wanted to try it a little bit more, just ever so slightly more oversized than the other one. It's just like just a teensy bit bigger, because this is more of a sport weight. My gauge was only ever so slightly off, but it's closer to sport weight, just a little bit denser of a fingering weight than the one that I used for the yellow version. But it's my pattern. I don't have to meet my gauge because I know what I was doing. But I think you probably could sort out gauge if you wanted to get it, but this is a yarn, at least to get a sweater quantity of it, that I had to wait about 7 weeks or so for it to be dyed by Taylor and then ready to ship and all that. So yes, I do recommend, my hair is everywhere, guys. I'm sorry. Do recommend this yarn. I love Fiber for the People yarn, and yeah, this is lovely. And I wasn't sure how I felt about, because it's, you can see it's like ever so slightly not perfectly solid. I did alternate skeins. I have full skeins here. But it reads, like looking at the skein, it reads pretty solid red. But there's ever so slight little variations in it because it is hand dyed, which I love, because I don't really love me a solid skein, which I'll talk about a little later. Even this is like Lion Brand jeans, but I love that it has the slight bit of color variation in it. It just, I don't know, I like that. So I really love this yarn. I'm calling it my Red Hot Chili sweater because obviously the buttons on it, can I show you? I don't know how to do this. There we go. The buttons on it are some plastic tortoiseshell something that I got at a local antique store. I don't think they're antique. I think they're vintage because, you know, they're solid plastic. But I got them, 6 of them. I only used 5 on the cardigan, but 6 of them for like $1.50, which was kind of fun. And they're a little bit bigger than the ones that I did on my first one. And I think they're just, it's just really cute. I really love it. I'm wearing it all day. And we're behind. Normally we do our Christmas pictures for like Christmas cards, family, whatnot, in October, beginning of November. It didn't happen this year. And then we were going to do them last weekend. And then my husband had a stomach bug, so that didn't happen. And we still haven't gotten our Christmas tree. So we're behind on our Christmas festivities, but we're going to catch up. But we're going to do Christmas photos, and I'm going to wear this cardigan because it is ever so festive, and I'll probably wear it for Christmas too. And then, all the time, always. I don't know, every time I make something new, I'm like, this is my favorite thing. And, then I make something else new, and that becomes my favorite, but I'm really, really loving this right now. It's quite lovely. So, Field's cardigan, highly recommend. It's my pattern, and it's coming hopefully very soon. And then, yes, customary, oh boy, don't flip the chair, Bella. Don't flip the chair. Okay, customary podcaster sock lift. Ooh, it's a little sheddy. Ha ha ha! Is that showing you anything? I can't show you the top of my foot. Sorry, did my best. That is the Bonfire Socks by Potter and Bloom in some Patton's Croy. Something about clover colors, clover stripes, something. So that is what I am wearing, and the designs all in one. We are just scurrying right along here. I don't have a ton today, but I finished, that was probably loud, I'm sorry. I finished a pair of socks because you must have socks. These are no pattern. They are just a broken rib stitch, which I really love for fit and the look of it. I think it's really beautiful, but it's really elastic, and it fits my foot really well. And I find that this sort of stitch keeps from any socks like sliding down, because I hate when socks get lumpy. So this just provides a really nice snuggly sock. This is in Patton's Croy Gray Marl, or Marl Gray is the main color, and then I did the heel in the color Flax, also Patton's Croy. And I made them just a little bit longer than I normally would, so they will peek out over my boots if I want to pull them up over my jeans or leggings. Although I don't really wear leggings anymore. Yeah, I'm really loving them. And these have actually been worn, and I mean, these minimal. I haven't washed them yet. Minimal wear, I don't even think I blocked them. I could just finish them and then wore them, because that works too. Blocking is just too bougie for socks. But yes, I'm really liking these, and I think I would definitely, we know that I love Croy because it's a little thicker and woolly, but I would definitely make another pair of socks in this pattern, because it fits really, really well. I'm sorry, my hair is just on everything. Having a bit of a sheddy phase, so yeah. Thyroids, they're fun. Yes. That's my finished object section. I finished this cardigan. I can't remember if I think it was mostly done last time, but yeah, so I finished the cardigan and I finished the socks, and that's, I think, the only things I finished recently. I feel like I did something else of note, but that might be it. I do have a couple works in progress, so let me show you those. All right, this I've got some feelings on. I got some feelings, and y'all might not like all of my feelings, so I'm just going to say now, this is my opinion. You do not have to agree with it, and I'm not trying to be, I don't know, I always feel bad giving like reviews, because first of all, I get comments of people who very much like the thing, which is fine. We don't have to like the same things, but I also feel bad because like, I want to be supportive, but I can't be supportive of all things, So I want to give you my honest review about something. And I will say that I was gifted this in a non promotional way, just like gifted, like, hey, you want to try this? Not at all like I needed to talk about it or review it or anything like that. But I have a skein of Clinton Hill Cashmere, bespoke DK, 100% cashmere, made in Italy, which I had heard about. It's kind of a luxury yarn. And if you're not familiar, it's, I think, like $50 for 50 grams. So it's like $1 a gram. And I think that's for all the weights of yarn, but definitely for this DK one. So I was gifted this when I visited Knit New Haven, which was a lovely shop. It was the first one that it wasn't the first one that I went to. It is the first one on the line of the shop hop from 2021. So if you want to go back and look at those vlogs, lovely time there, lovely shop. And they have so many like of the yarns that you've heard about on podcasts and whatnot. So I don't remember how it came up. I think we were talking about how sometimes wool really bothers me, and I can do merino, like this is non-superwash, but like a woolly wool, I really want to be into it because I like the minimal processing and the natural and all of that, but I'm very sensitive. So we were talking about that, and the owner had asked, like, have you ever worked with cashmere? And I was like, no, I haven't. It's something I'd like to try, but not, it's a lot to just splurge on to like try. And I don't remember exactly how the conversation came around, but she was like, hey, do you want to just try a ball of Clinton Hill Cashmere, which is a well-known cashmere yarn. And I was like, whoa, that is incredibly generous. Like, out of the blue, like, they weren't even supposed to, like, they didn't have to give me anything, and they were very generous with other things as well when I was there. Just so kind. So I was really blessed by that. But, so they let me pick out a skein. So I picked this out. There's nothing shady to be said there. It's the color olive. And, I mean, that's the dye lot information or whatever on it. But really lovely, soft yarn. This is a little nugget that I have left. So I started working with it. They had given me a pattern. Clinton Hill has lots of patterns. I think they're free. I don't think you have to purchase the yarn. I'm not sure if it's like free with purchase, if you like then connect. They printed it off for me, so I'm not sure. But they gifted me the North Oxford hat pattern. I have it in black and white. Oh, that shows pretty well. But I wasn't loving the top of this. But they have a lot of patterns. Clinton Hill has a bunch that are specific to their yarn, so that if you meet gauge, you will be able to optimize the yarn you have. Because if you're buying a $50 donut of yarn, you want, to be able to finish that project with not too much, too little, which I think is really cool. I do like that very much. But I didn't end up making this hat pattern because I don't know. It's a traditional, maybe like fisherman-y looking hat, but didn't love it. So I decided I was going to do a twisted rib, which I really like, hat. So I got this going. It is really pretty, and it does match my eyes. And it does match my coat as well. I have like a green tweedy fabric coat. So I'm doing a twisted rib, kind of like the seismic beanie that I made for my daughter by White Owl Crochet Co. I never remember. And I haven't decided if I'm going to do those decreases again because I messed them up so badly last time. And it came out okay, but it didn't come out right. So I either need to sit down and figure those out or do other decreases. And this is going to be a snug fitting hat, but I knew I had to make it pretty small if I was going to be able to get with the 50, because this is what I have left, 50 grams to get a hat that I could fold the brim over on and not, run out of yarn on the top because I didn't want to get another skein. So I'm loving this worked up. But I have to say, and I do not know how, I am not trying to like accuse anybody of anything because I get it, stuff happens. But I was really disappointed because as I broke into this skein of new yarn from the shop, from Clinton Hill Cashmere, that I picked out myself, there within the first like 2 feet there was a knot, like not a tangle, but like they knotted the two ends of a cone, a ply, something, 2 ends knotted together, which I expect sometimes if you get from like whatever, it's forgivable when it's in a $4 skein that you got at Michael's or whatever, and that's fine. You can cut the end, weave it in. But like this far in to a 50-gram skein of what is a luxury yarn, I was like, okay. But all right, it happens. If you're working on machines, and I don't love it when companies do that, but I get it. So I worked past that. And then I came across pretty early on in the skein, so I don't know if it like maybe had a mishap with like, although I couldn't see it from, because I was thinking maybe it was from like a box cutter or something, because I couldn't see it from the outside of the skein. It's like a little bit in, but there was a whole section where the yarn plies were just split. So like, oh no, that's another knot. Just kidding, that's a knot. There's more knots. Yeah, I cut it, so you can't really tell, but there was a whole bunch of sections where like one ply was hanging on for dear life, and then the other plies had like broken off, and I didn't want to leave the yarn like that because that would leave the hat susceptible to holes. So I had to keep cutting it to then, reconnect the yarn so I could weave it in later and not have holes in the hat. But that happened 4 or more times. So I was a little frustrated with that. And I know someone's going to say, do you have moths? I do not have moths. I checked my other yarn and there's no sign of mothing of any kind. And I don't think there was at the shop either. That shop was immaculate and beautiful. So I don't know, maybe shipping or something at the, like, I don't know. I don't want to accuse anybody of anything because these are just speculations. But I was just disappointed because if it was something that I had purchased and saved money for, I'm not one to usually like splurge on something like that. But if it was something, or if like one of you bought it, I'd just be really frustrated if I bought this luxury item and it immediately was like falling apart. So it is a nice yarn. I haven't worked with cashmere before, so I can't compare. It's very soft and it's not itchy at all, which I love. And hats tend to be very itchy for me because just like my forehead is really sensitive for some reason. Like right here always gets, even with acrylic, I'm like hopelessly itchy. So I'm hoping that this is not the case with this. And like I said, I love the color and it was a gift. So I'm not going to like write the company and carrying it up or anything. But yeah, I was just kind of confused. So I thought I'd share that with you. And I don't want to say that that's all skeins, and I've talked to other people and their skeins are perfect and glorious and the same color and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know what happened there. I just got a weird skein, I guess. But I guess it just wasn't all that I had hoped it to be, or that it was hyped up to be. I don't know. It kind of feels like it's a status item purchase for me. Because I hear a lot of people talking about it, and it does seem, it's nice, but I don't know if it's $50 nice. Like it's not, this is definitely a little less soft. This is a little more fluffy, but for $50, I don't know. And it definitely has a tendency to want to pill, like already just from knitting it. So yeah, I have a lot of cashmere experience here, but I think I was just hoping for this lofty, amazing $50 yarn experience, and it's good, but it's not, I would pay $50 for it. And I know people buy it to make garments and blankets and stuff, and that's very costly. And if you're going to spend that much money on yarn, I would want it to not have breaks in it. So it looks like the rest of the skein might be okay. So it seems like it was the outside of the skein. I don't know what happened, but I wanted to share that. And if you love it, I hope you have wonderful, wonderful skeins with no breaks or knots in them, because that is always the worst thing to wish upon your yarn enemies, your yarn friends. You would not even wish it upon your yarn enemies. That's the one that I'm going for. Nobody likes knots in their yarn. Yeah, and moths don't knot, so I don't, 2 knots and like 4 breaks. Yeah, so that is my Clinton Hill story. Take it or leave it. But then I haven't started it yet, but I do want to make, it's not exactly the same, but I have a leftover skein of Cascade, which, I mean, it's definitely not the same color. But my coat is green, like I said. I might be overdoing it on the green, but I do like green. This is too woolly for my head. This is, what are you? It's superwash, and it's too woolly for my head. 100% superwash, Cascade 220. And it's got a little more tonal stuff going on in there. It's applied with some like yellows and blues. I had made a hat and a cowl for my brother last year for Christmas, but I'm gonna make some fingerless gloves with this. This is definitely more than enough. This was a full skein. I think I used a tiny bit of it and then put the ball band back on. Maybe I can get gloves for me and my husband or something. But yeah, I'm gonna make some fingerless gloves out of this because I need some. My baby's got many hats and cowls, but I need some winter wear for me. I have plenty of cowls and sweaters, but hats and fingerless gloves, I have none that I want, that don't make me itch. So I'm trying to remedy that. That is my whips bit. Actually, I know I have one more sort of kind of maybe whip. It is a whip as of tomorrow, so we're just going to talk about it because I think it's kind of an interesting premise. And again, I'm just full of controversial yarn things today. All right, so advent calendars for yarn. I love the idea of them, but first of all, they are a lot of money. And I'm not saying that it's not a worthy price, because those dyers are doing insane, like to have to plan that many colors and make it all work together and then package it and then ship it. That's a lot of work. Like, pay those dyers, pay them all the money. But for me, it's a lot of money to spend on something I haven't seen. I don't like surprises. So even if they do like a mood board, that's not enough for me to know that, yes, I want to spend that much money on that thing. Again, personal preference. And also, I'm just not, I don't know, I'm not a big treat yourself purchase kind of person. And I have lots of yarn. And I don't like having lots of yarn that isn't being used. I've talked about this a lot, and very frequently, I guess. But yeah, I like to not have a huge stash. And if I do have stash, I want it to have a project and like a name to what it's going to be. So all of this back here pretty much has something that it's turning into. So the advents, unless I had a really specific purpose for all of the, it's a lot of yarn. And you could always do a shawl or a blanket. I know a lot of people do blankets, or they have a blanket they've been working on for years with the advent calendar. And I really like the idea of all of that, but I didn't have a project in mind. And also you have to order them in like June or something, because the dyers need so much time to prepare them and order them, and yarn shortages and all of that, and shipping, and just, it's a lot. So I have never done a yarn advent from an indie dyer. I do love the idea of a yarn swap amongst yarn friends, but I also like to use all of my yarn in entirety. Like I have a scrap basket. Oh, you can't really see it. That yellow one behind me. A scrap basket, and I make scrappy socks, and I use like every last bit of yarn that I can. Like sometimes just like this much left kind of thing. I get a lot of satisfaction out of using up all the yarn. It just feels like I bought that yarn and I used it. But I know some people will set aside like 20 grams of each skein and then do swaps. I do love the idea of that, but I don't have any that I want to swap right now. So maybe at some point. But what this is all leading up to, I wanted to do an advent project, but I didn't have an advent calendar, and I hadn't purchased yarn specifically for advent. So what I did, I probably should have picked a better way to show you this, like a bowl or something. Do I have a bowl? Yeah, I don't. Okay, so they're in a bag. What I did was grabbed 20, I don't remember if I did 24 or 25, but bits. Okay, there's a Ziploc bag in there for a reason. I have a plan. All right, so there's just a whole bunch of bits. I posted a picture on Instagram, but oh boy, this is, I am not showing this well. Hold on, I'm gonna put them in the bag and then I'll show you. All right, sorted that one out. So I have 24 or 25, whatever I settled on. Little, not even mini skeins, but little itty bitty scrappy bits of yarn that I used either in collaboration with dyers and designs, or have purchased. Just stuff that I pulled out of that yellow big basket back there. And a lot of them are from designs and stuff that I can look back and be like, oh, remember when I made that thing? And I like that of a scrappy project, but I have them all in a bag. This actually came with the Advent that I bought, the Advent Bible study that I bought from the Daily Grace Co. It's just a little handled tote bag. So I have them in here. And I have the plastic bag because here's my plan. I have to finish this cuff tonight or soon. My plan is to each day let my daughter pull out 2 of these little yarn nuggets. And then I will be making I believe it is the 24 Days socks, just a new pattern for Advent socks by Potter and Bloom. I always love her sock pattern. So I did a twisted rib, or a knit one, purl through the back loop, cuff. I think it's 20 rows, a little more than what the pattern called for. I have to finish this one. And then what I'm going to do is work 2 colors each day, and it's like a slip stitch sock pattern. So I'll have her pick the 2 colors. And then I'll work I am just excelling at showing you things today. Do the slip stitch pattern. And 2 colors a day will then get me through 1 sock. And as she picks the colors, I'm going to throw them back into this Ziploc. And then we'll redraw the same colors again for the second sock, but in a different order. So they will be the same colors, but completely different orders probably, maybe. I'm not going to let her look when she's picking. So I thought it would be a fun thing to do together. She can't knit or crochet yet, but she does love yarn, and I thought it would be fun to involve her. I was going to do socks for her for Advent, but she outgrows them just so fast. And I thought about doing leg warmers, but those would be some really fabulous random leg warmers. So I, being the person that wears the socks all winter, I'm going to get the socks. And I just made her a ton of knitwear for her birthday. So she's really not lacking in knitwear at all. So I'm going to make me some socks. So this is kind of I think everything on the podcast today I'm making for myself, which is unusual, but I do have a couple other Christmassy gift make things that I want to do, but that's about it for right now. So I'm excited to see how these socks turn out. I think they'll be fun. A lot of my yarns are very jewel toned and rainbow because that's kind of my thing. But some of them, like there's a variegated like pink in there that I had dyed. This pink avocado skein that I dyed. Yeah, basically all the randoms are the ones that I dyed with natural methods. So it'll be interesting. See how they turn out. But again, they're just socks, so it's not like something I'm going to be wearing on my head or something that you can judge me for. So this is kind of a wild episode, y'all, and I have no idea what I'm calling this episode. I'll have to listen to it back. Sometimes a name really sticks out to me, but I don't know if I said anything memorable today. So hopefully you enjoyed this. And I would love to know if you are doing either purchased an Advent calendar, be it yarn or tea or a Bible study or like whatever it is that you're doing, Advent wise. I would love to know about it. Christmas traditions that you have, family traditions of getting trees or otherwise. Like, I'd love to know about that stuff. So leave me a comment down below with some of your favorite traditions or foods or really whatever. I just like chatting with y'all. So leave me that, and if you want to make some scrappy socks with me, you still have some time to jump in quick, because yeah, Advent started Wednesday and it's Friday when you're seeing this, I think, if you're watching it on the first day. If not, start planning for next year, and maybe someday we could do a yarn swap. Maybe. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you are having a cozy, if you are in a cozy part of the world, or a snuggly, pleasant, wonderful December. And thank you for being part of my cozy community. I'm glad we get to talk yarny things together. I'll see you guys next time.